Welcome, everybody. Welcome to ZionCapitalFX. My name is Chance, and you're watching the video log series where we take anyone that doesn't know anything about Forex, indices, or the markets in general and try to put them on a path towards consistent profitability and financial freedom, right? So consistent profitability is the goal. Financial freedom is the dream. Let's go. So today's video, we're going to talk about leverage and margin. I've touched base on this in previous videos, and we're getting closer to actually jumping on the charts and learning how to trade, but there's still some nuances to the markets and to brokers and to everything that's going on here that we still need to learn. We learned the mechanical processes, you know, how to get the apps and programs on our computer, our phones, how to navigate through them, how to place trades and all that. And then now to the point where, okay, we placed the trade, but what does that really mean? What's really going on behind the scenes? So I wanna touch base with you on what leverage and margin is. Leverage is the name of the game here. Okay, you've heard Forex is done with leverage. You've heard certain markets use leverage. Um, Leverage is a double-edged sword. Leverage is either going to hurt you in the most extreme way or it's going to help you. And it's all about how you manage leverage. It's all about how you manage at the end of the day. It's always going to be risk management. Risk management is money management. It's everything to trading. I cannot stress that enough. Management is the end all be all. Okay. So we need to understand, why do people blow their accounts using leverage, and why do people grow their accounts using leverage? So I'm gonna take you in on a little journey here. I'm gonna share my screen, and boom. Okay, here we go. Leverage margin 101. This is what we're gonna learn today. Now, I've already told you that leverage is a double-edged sword. What do I mean by that? Well, your first hint to that should be when you go to sign up with a broker or register with them. The first thing they tell you is your losses can exceed your deposits. Now, how does that even happen? Well, first of all, it happens when you don't understand risk management, when you don't know how to properly manage a trade, and you don't know how to trade worth it all. Um, it can happen very easily. The poor sucker that goes all in with these Hail Mary trades, uses his entire position. Let's say he's got $1,000 account, and then he just trades it all full position, full capital in one single trade. You can wipe out your account in a matter of seconds. Yes, seconds. So we have to understand how to not do that. So let's talk about what actually leverage is. Um, the perfect example to use, and I just did this. I just bought a house, so why not use this? Um, Leverage in a sense is, you want to buy a house, and your house that you're looking at is $100,000. Well, you can't go to any bank unless you have 20% down payment, right? So wrong one. You got a loan, you're asking for a loan of $100,000, and you got a 20% down payment, so that's $20,000, right? So, in a sense, you know, with that $20,000, you have $100,000 worth of buying power from the bank. The bank gives you that. Now, this ought to sound familiar because the bank is not just any bank, that is the broker. Okay. I want you, when you hear bank, I want you to think of broker. So, uh, when you have $20,000 in your account, you have $100,000 worth of buying power. That's just the typical. I don't want to say typical, but just think of it as a general analogy. Okay, so that's it's the same premise with the broker and all that. So let's take that a step further. The most common leverage that you're going to see from offered from brokers is 1 to 10, 1 to 20, 1 to 50. And then from offshore brokers, you'll see 1 to 100, all the way up to 1 to 500. And if you see anything more than 1 to 500, just my personal opinion, stay away from that, because that's only just gonna bring you heartache and trouble in the long run, right? Something to note for all my US friends, US brokers here in the US, we can only go up to 1 to 50. That is the law. So some brokers might be 1 to 30. They might actually have some assets that are 1 to 1 or 1 to 10. 1 to 20. It just depends on what they require, but we can only go up to 1 to 50 if we're using a US broker. That's a video for another day when we talk about brokers in general. But right now we're just talking about leverage and margin. So I said US brokers only allow up to 1 to 50. So if we open an account with $1,000 with a US broker with leverage, we have $50,000 worth of buying power. So with $1,000, we can control 50,000 units. Let's see here. So if we were to place a trade with $1,000, this is how leverage can hurt us. Okay, if we're that guy that wants to go all in with $1,000 and enter the market, let's say we go on a buy for GU, right? We go on a buy for GU. We're going to put all of our $1,000 into the market. We control 50,000 units. Something that we need to understand is the volume of our trade. So 50,000 units would equate to 5 mini lots. We haven't gotten into lot sizes just yet, but so think of this as the preview towards it, right? Because in order to place a trade and manage a trade well, you need to start from the get-go, right? And to do that, you need to learn how to calculate your lot sizes, how big a position you take in the market. So, but for the sake of this video, 50,000 units would equate to 5 mini lots. That averages out to $5 per pip. Okay. And just for the sake of lot sizes, I want to go over this because I know in a previous video, I think it was my trading view tutorial or one of my videos, I mistakenly, actually, I think it was the MetaTrader tutorial on the desktop. I mistakenly said something wrong. I gave you some misinformation and I want to clear that up right now. So right here, if we look, a micro lot is 1,000 units. That's 10 cents per pip. That's the value per pip. One mini lot, which is kind of like in our example right here, is worth 10,000 units, and that's $1 per pip. A standard lot, you control 100,000 units, and that's $10 per pip. So that gives you a little preview on lot sizes and how to figure that out. But as this crazy guy that goes all in GU using $1,000 of his full capital, his entire account balance, he has control of 5 mini lots, which is, you know, $1 per pip. Well, how do we figure that? Well, 10,000 units is a mini lot. So we have $50,000 units, you know, 10,000 times 5 is 50,000. So that's where we get the five mini lots equals 5 pips or $5 per pip. Okay. Now this is where margin and leverage go hand in hand. Okay. So if he were to lose, right, how many pips can he really lose in a trade before he wipes out that entire $1,000? Well, $1,000 divided by $5, that's 200 pips. So if you lost 200 pips in this trade, you would completely wipe out your account balance. Now, coming from a guy that trades GU, that's really not out of the question. Like 200 pips, that might seem a lot, but it's really, really not. If you get like let's say we just talked about news events earlier. If you had a massive news event like an interest rate decision or a core inflation report, especially in a time of a recession, if that comes out, you could easily hit 200 pips in like a matter of seconds or minutes. Like it's not that hard. So you could wipe out your account instantly there, right? If it were to go down. And then on the same hand, if it goes in your direction, it might just skyrocket and then you made a small fortune, right? But you can't think like that. A trader needs to have probability, statistics, data, all the odds in his favor. And if you're just doing something like this, if you're going all in and with these Hail Mary trades, you're a gambler, you're not a trader. So I just want to clear that up. But let's see. So 200 pips is what you would have to lose before you actually wipe out your entire balance. But here's the thing. This is where margin comes into play. So much percentage of your account balance, the broker sets aside that, and that's called margin. So that's like the down payment, right? When you go to the bank to buy a house, the broker's going to ask you to put down a down payment to cover your investment in case something happens, right? Like if you go belly up, well, in this instance, you go belly up, you lose your 200 pips. But before you lose those 200 pips, it's more like about when you lose, or you're losing like 160, 180, when you're about 160 or 180 down, the broker's going to margin call your account. What they're going to do is they're going to exit your position for you, and they're going to leave you with about 10% of your account balance. Why do they do this? Well, the brokers aren't going to lose any money on your tomfoolery and stupidity because you got in a trade that you shouldn't have gotten into at all, right? They're going to cover their butts. So that's why they're going to margin call. They're going to make sure that you don't exceed what more than you could lose, right? But that being said, there's things called slippage and whatnot. You could still get in a position where the broker is going to say, hey, you owe us money. You need to put money in your account if you want to keep going. So that's why I say losses can exceed deposits. And that's why there's contracts and waivers that you sign and submit when you sign up with a broker. It's really important. You can still lose your butt in this, right? So let's see here. So how do we not lose a bunch of money? How do we use leverage in our favor? Well, this is where risk management comes into play. So instead of being that guy that goes all in with these Hail Mary trades, we need to start thinking about risk management. So if we have $1,000 account, right, I'm going to tell you that the proper risk management, and this is where risk is a very personal thing, right? You in the community, I wouldn't say it's looked upon, but don't be asking people what they're willing to risk. Like that's their business, okay? But what I'm going to tell you, what a healthy risk is 0.5 to 1% of your account, right? So if we're only going to risk 1% out of $1,000, we're risking $10, right? So $1,000 with 50-to-1 leverage, 1% risk equals $10. So how do we figure out how to risk $10, only 1% of our account when we enter a trade? Well, that's where we need to set a stop loss. A stop loss, what that is it's a predetermined level in the market that if price were to reach, it automatically takes you out of the trade. Never trade without a stop loss. You get a news event that comes out, releases. I remember when Russia invaded Ukraine, I was in a position. No one knew that Russia was going to invade Ukraine at that point. I was in a trade and I got demolished in the US 30, the Dow Jones. Thankfully, I had a stop loss in place. Within a matter of a millisecond, it just took me out. As soon as word broke out that Russia went over the lines, my trade went horribly against me, but I was protected by my stop loss. So never trade without a stop loss. There's been times where I go to the bathroom and I come back and I'm out because the market just turned for whatever reason. And thank goodness I had a stop loss and it took me out. So enough of that. So that's stop losses. That's a process or a part of risk management. Risk management, it's also, predefining the amount you're willing to lose, right? So anytime you get in the trade, you have to accept the total amount of risk. You have to be willing to accept, as soon as I enter the market, this money is gone. If you can do that, you're going to do well in trading. So 1%, right? You're willing to accept that as soon as I enter this trade, if I lose this $10, it's not the end of the world. Life will carry on and we will move forward. So we risk $10, 1%. So we need to figure out in that stop loss how many pips or how many pips is going to establish that stop loss. So if your stop loss was 100 pips, what you would do is you would take $10 and divide it by 100 pips, right? So $10 divided by 100 pips equals 10 cents per pip. That means our lot size is going to be 1 micro lot, right? Micro lot right here, 10 cents per pip. If our stop loss was 50 pips, you kind of see where this math is going. $10 divided by 50 pips is 20 cents. It'd be 2 micro lots. So, and the lot size You know, when you enter it in MetaTrader, it's going to look like this. 0.01 will be your lot size if you're risking 1 micro lot, or it'd be 0.02 if you're risking 2 micro lots. This is actually what it would look like in MetaTrader when you would enter the trade, what your lot size or your volume would be. Okay. But let's go to GU, right? We've been talking about GU. Let's go to GU and let's see how this would actually look. All right. Price is currently, market just opened. Price is currently 23267. It is not actually this number. And it's going to fluctuate. Okay. So if we were to enter the market at this point, this is our buy position tool, right? We learned this in the TradingView tutorial. This is our buy position tool. So as soon as we enter the market, we're looking from this point, our entry price to here is 100 pips, right? So we're willing to risk 1% or 100 pips, and then we're hoping to gain 2%. So our total risk to reward right now is 1 to 2. 1 to 2 R&R. Okay. Let's see. Trying to think here. If price goes down and touches this level right here, so the predetermined level is 1.22258, we are going to lose the $10. But if price hits our take profit, which is 1.25274, then we are going to make $20, right? So now that we know how that works, leverage is being used in our favor. You know, if it hits that level, that's $20 to the good to us. If it hits this level, that's $10 to the negative on us, right? So that's it in a nutshell. But there's more to it, right? So let's think about that down payment when we were going to get that loan for 100,000 for the home. Brokers require a down payment, right? So if we're risking 1% of $1,000, right, and leverage is 1 to 50, right, we have to put up a down payment, right? We have to allocate some sort of margin from our account balance that tells the broker, okay, this is the good faith money that you're putting down. We'll give you the buying power which you desire with your lot size. So in order to figure that, that's really easy. If your leverage is 1 to 50, right? And I'm gonna look like a kindergartner here because I am going to use the brush tool. So if our leverage is 1 to 50, that is horrible looking, right? What we would do is we would take $1,000. We would take $1,000, right? So $1,000, and we would divide it by 50, right? What does that give us? That gives us 20, right? $20. So this is part of risk management. So what is our margin like? Well, our down payment for that position that we just took, this 1 to 2 position where we risked 100 pips to gain 200 pips, we gave the broker a down payment of $20. Now, that isn't to say, I don't want to confuse anybody. If price were to hit our stop loss, we still only lose $10. But we had to allocate $20 in order to take that position. That's why you'll see on MetaTrader free margin percentage, because it takes that number in an account, that number number of funds or the amount of money that you need to allocate towards this position. We're still only risking $10, but we have to have $20 available to take that position. That's our free margin. We have to have that much free margin. So I hope that makes sense. Leverage and margin go hand in hand. You don't ever want to be in a position where you're over leveraging and you're overextending yourself and you get margin called. I'm here to tell you right now, if you have proper risk management and if you have good money management skills, you'll do just fine. Don't be like this guy that goes all in with $1,000 account and immediately wants to control 50,000 units of GU and then just blow it in a matter of minutes. You don't want to do that. You want to practice good risk management. You want to be smart about your trade. And, in essence, that's another video for another day, because we could have a whole video on just risk management alone. If you're doing it right, though, for every trade, you're risking 0.5% or 1%. And so let's talk about this for just a quick second. I'm going on a rabbit trail here. Stick with me. So you gotta let's just hypothetically speaking, because it's easier to think in number wise. Let's say you got an account for $100,000. 1% of $100,000 is $1,000, right? So every trade you take, stick with that 1%, right? This is part of risk management. If you have, if your account grows, to 110,000, your risk can grow with that, right? You're still going to risk only 1%. 1% of 110,000 is $1,100, right? Stick with it. Don't try to Hail Mary and force trades that aren't there, that aren't going to happen. Same thing. If let's say your account balance is down to 90,000, only risk 1% of 90,000, $900. Don't try to risk the full 1% of your initial starting balance of $100,000, right? Don't risk $100 more, just because you want to get caught up and out of drawdown. That's poor risk management. Stick with the numbers. The numbers are exponential in a sense. If you just stick to the process, put your nose to the grinding stone and do this right, you'll make it. It's the people that want to force trades, that want to overexert themselves, overextend with margin and leverage, that get in trouble and blow accounts, right? And then that being said, another aspect to risk management is when you define how much risk you're willing to accept. I will give you a personal rule of mine. Whenever I am down 2% in drawdown, I cut my risk in half. I will no longer risk 1%. It is now 0.5%, 0.5% that I'm willing to risk, because I want to close the gap. I don't want to keep losing. I might be in a losing streak because my wins and losses are not distributed evenly. I have no idea. The next 3 trades might be losers. The next 3 trades might be winners. I have no idea. Maybe the next trade's a winner, and then 2 more are losers. You don't know how your wins and losses are going to be distributed. So, why take the chance? No pun intended. That was so dumb. So what I'm getting at is there's more to risk management. There's ways to play this game safely and logically, right? So, but that's a rabbit trail. That's another video. We'll go into that later. I'm really big on risk management. To me, that's everything to this. Like the money making and all that. That's second priority. It's about managing your risk, because too often I have friends, I know other traders that have overextended themselves, have exercised poor risk management, and it's bit them in the butt every single time, right? You have to define the risk, accept it, not be afraid of it, and then that's when you'll overcome it. So anyway, I hope you liked this video. I hope it made sense. If there's some that wasn't clear and that I can clear up, don't hesitate to ask. Put it in the comments. Let me know. Questions, comments, suggestions, and I'll read them and we'll answer them, or I'll answer them. Me and the mouse in my back pocket here. But yeah, hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you know exactly when I'm sending out these videos. And just thank you, everybody that's made this channel what it is. I know I said a long time ago, and I'm saying it now. If this video log series only helps one person, it's worth it in my eyes. So thank you for everything. I'm learning more about myself as I do these. I'm learning more of what I don't know, and I'm learning more of what I'm good at, and it's an incredible experience and process for me as well. So everybody stay safe in the markets, and I will catch you next time. This is Chance, and peace out.